Today I'm going to show you how to make a crepe paper rose. If you've never made crepe paper flowers before and you want to get started, this is a great beginner flower to start with. You will need 2 sheets of red crepe paper. These are 12 by 12 and a pretty standard crepe paper that you can find in any craft store. You'll need a piece of floral wire. This one is fairly thick so it doesn't bend very easily, and it is 9 inches long. You'll need some tacky glue. Aleene's tacky glue works perfectly for crepe paper flowers as it dries quick enough that you can move on to the next petal as soon as possible. You'll also need some scissors for cutting out your petals as well as curling the edges of the petals. You will need a small piece of scrap paper or cardstock to make your pattern onto. And you'll need a pencil to create the pattern and a fine point marker to transfer the pattern to the crepe paper. Let's start with making our template. You're going to want 2 sizes of petals, one bigger and one smaller. The shape is going to be the same for both of them. What you're going to do is draw a heart. You can refine it a little bit to get the size that you want. And then you can draw the smaller heart. They don't have to be perfect because petals rarely are. What you are going to want to do is soften the curve at the top. You don't want it to be super pointy, just a nice soft curve. And those are going to be our 2 pattern pieces. We're going to be cutting 6 small and 8 large flower petals. The easiest way to cut the flower petals is to first cut a strip that is wide as your petal. You want the crepe paper to be running in this direction, so the grain is going along the point this way. Now, to be able to cut multiple petals at once, what we're going to do is accordion fold our crepe paper. You want it to be just wide enough to fit your petal with just a little bit extra. Once you do the first fold, use that to make the next folds. This one will only be able to cut 3 from each strip, but we'll put on our pattern piece and take our fine point marker to trace it. Then, holding the layers of the crepe paper together, you can use your detail scissors to cut out the petals. Now we have 3 petals, and we need to cut out 5 more. We'll keep this little scrap because we can make little petals out of this one. We can now use the same technique to cut out 6 of these small petals. I'm going to add that piece of scrap on top so that I can get 6 petals. We'll cut it down just to make it a little easier to work with. If you made your hearts bigger, you will probably need more paper, but if you made them about this size, you should only have to use 1 page of crepe paper. Of course, the bigger the petals, the bigger the flower will end up. Now that we have all our petals cut out, the next thing we have to do is shape each individual petal. You will use two techniques to shape your petals. One is called cupping and one is called curling. To do the cupping, you want to hold your petal with the point down and the two rounded sides up. Hold it in your fingers with your thumbs on top. And what you're going to do is use your thumbs to do a sort of rolling push out motion in the middle. You can see how it cups the petal and gives it that lovely petal shape. So again, you're just going to want to hold it between your fingers and your thumbs and press down and roll out. It's better to do it lightly at first, and then you can always add more texture later. Repeat the cupping technique with the small petals. The next technique for shaping the petals is called curling. If you've ever curled a ribbon with a pair of scissors, you will be familiar with this technique. You'll want to open up your scissors as wide as they go, and you want to carefully hold them in place. Mind this bottom sharp edge, while you take this sharp edge and place it underneath your petal. So you want the cup to be going down. Take the sharp edge and put your thumb on top of it and gently slide it. You will see that it will cause this sort of outward curl on the edges of the petals. So again, take the sharp side, put it underneath, put your thumb on top, and slowly scrape it along. As with the cupping, it's easier to do small motions first and then add to it. Now that they are sufficiently shaped, it is time to start assembly. You'll need to grab your wire and your glue. We're going to start with the small petals first. The first small petal you're going to want to roll in 2/3 so that it's folded over like so. Next, you're going to want to take your glue and dab a bit along that bottom edge. You don't want too much, but you want decent coverage. About that much should do. Grab your wire and place it down in the middle and then wrap that around. You're going to pinch it first and then going to curl one side over. The glue should make it dense enough to work with that it'll be able to just fold right over and stick together. So that is going to be your first petal, and we're going to build off of that one. We're also going to fold the second petal inward and do the very similar as the first one. Add a little bit of glue on the bottom. And this time on the opposite side, wrap it around. You want the shape to be organic, so it doesn't matter if it looks kind of lopsided. The next petal, we're not going to fold. We're just going to put some glue along the bottom. And begin wrapping it around. This one should overlap, and you can just fold it over like so. And you can see the beginnings of the middle of our rose. Now we're going to continue putting on the small petals in the same manner as we just did that last one. Don't fold it, just put some glue on the bottom. And then offset from where you did the last one, wrap around and twist to make sure that it's secure. You can roll those petals sort of between your fingers. Once you have all your small petals on, it should look something like this. And now we're going to use the same technique to add all our big petals. You don't need a ton of glue. You're going more for coverage than amount. If you find you're not getting great coverage, you can also use your thumb to just spread it a little bit. These ones are going to go a little further down, and then you're going to wrap. And again, it's going to be like the beginning where you need to fold it a little bit and then twist the rose at the bottom. Make sure that each petal is slightly offset from the other so that you get a natural looking pattern. Once you've attached all your petals, give the bottom a good twist to make sure they are all secure, and then you can finagle with your petals as you see fit. And that's it. You've just made your first crepe paper rose, and you can make a million more to make a lovely large bouquet. If you liked this tutorial, please hit that like button and subscribe to see more. If you want to see more of these crepe paper tutorials, let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.